Warning: the following content may contain elements that are not suitable for some audiences. Viewer discretion is advised.
On how many... Whoop, 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 to the right. Oh. Stalled it. Welcome everybody back to Euro Truck Simulator 2. My name is Garlic Bread, and today we're going to be hauling a little bit of a dangerous substance. We are hauling acid. Yes, acid. That is what we'll be hauling today. 19 beautiful tons of it. So that's what we're hauling today. We're in a Mercedes truck today. So of course, before we get started, let's check out the brakes. I don't know if the Mercedes has the idiot light. Yes, it does. Beautiful. But since we're in here, let's make sure wipers are good to go. Alright. Mirrors should be fine. Alright, let's get out to the outside. Let's go to the front. And let's do this. Let's do parking lights. Actually, hold on. Wrong button. Parking lights. Driving lights, high beams, left turn signal, right turn signal, 4 ways, and horn. Let's go over here, looking at a low, make sure it's secure. Since we're back here, press on the brakes are good, left turn signal, right turn signal, 4 ways. That is good. And then we're going to come back here to the back of the trailer. Let's do the same thing. Brakes, good. Left turn signal, right turn signal, 4 ways. Yup. Actually. And we have our reverse lights working too, which is great also. I know you're probably thinking, well, you never did reverse lights for the American trucks, because once again, a lot of them don't. They don't have emergency. They don't have backup lights on the trailers. And that's how it is. It's true. That's how they have it. They don't have it on the trailers. They have it on the. They do have it on the tractor, but let me get going here. Gotta kind of jam it in third there for a second. Yeah, they have the. Some of them do, some of them don't. They have the backup lights on the tractor, but they usually don't have the what's the word I'm looking for? The warning, the backup chime or the warning chime, whatever you want to call it. I don't know exactly what you want to call it, but they don't. Nope. I should have just went for it. Either way, it would have been. Alright, let's see. Whoa. Well, apparently I can't do that, so. Yeah, apparently I can't do that. Anyways, but yeah, so they don't. Is he gonna be able to get by? He should. Yeah, they don't have it. Some of them do, some of them don't. Let me get going. Second. And actually, you know, this is we're actually going to talk about something quite interesting, actually, and that would be how trucks came apart, not apart like, you know, destroyed, but like how they got together, how they came apart is what. Yeah, that's pretty much the same thing. And it all started, you know, back in the days and all that. I don't know exactly when or who exactly started it. I'm actually trying to do some research on it myself, actually. Just because I like to get to know, you know, these, you know, just trying to get to know truck history. But if you ever go to somebody, mostly the elderly people, and you go, you know, or you can even look it up in the, you know, in Google or in your thesaurus or your dictionary, and you look up convoy. Now, when you ask the elderly people, when you say convoy, their first thought is trucks, 18-wheelers, which that's where the word convoy came from. And convoy, all it means is a number of trucks in line driving down the street. Now, before things have changed and everything, it used to be just trucks, but now a convoy is also known as many cars or motorcycles in you know, in a line, running a straight line. And so that's what a convoy is. And now we're gonna go deeper into the reason why there is limitations on how many. Whoa, to the right. Oh, stalled it. On how many really I high centered it. Can't believe I high centered it. Alright, let's see if I can do this again. And the reason was because these trucks would run 15, 20, 25, 30 trucks in a line down the highway. And what started that was, don't get me wrong, truckers, they get paid. They don't get paid as good. I don't think they get paid as good as they should. Because if you actually think about it, everything in your supermarket, you know, by your house, you know, Walgreens, you know, Costco, you know, Home Depot, all of those, if it wasn't for 18-wheelers and drivers, there wouldn't be those shelves stocked. No, now I know you're probably thinking, yeah, you know, there may not be none of them, but they would be stocked. You are right. Eventually, somebody would invent or do something about it to get those to get those shelves stocked. But until then, those shelves would be empty. They really would. So you surely do not want the trucking industry to go on strike, because that would be bad. But anyway, so back then they got paid more than anybody. They were the most paying job, even more than first responders. So your police, your fire, and your EMTs. They got paid more than them. And what happened? A lot of these cops that was on the force, sheriffs, didn't like these trucks running and driving their trucks on their road. So what would happen is these police officers will go out, buy a CB, and then proceed to install it in their car, listen to the truckers, know where they are, and then hide. That's also where the word entrapment comes from, which is of course now illegal. But back then they didn't have, such a thing. There was, it was like, it was a law, but it was very not well maintained. The judges didn't really, they didn't care. Pretty much, if you paid somebody off, you were fine. And then once you get into the entrapment and you get pulled over, then you have 3 choices. And if the cop is crooked, the third choice would be your best suit. 1 would be just to pay the ticket, or 2 would be to fight it. But once again, because cops knew the judges and the judges knew the cops, the judge would just side with the cops. And because of that, and until they changed the laws of a little bit, not just a little bit, changed what the reckless driving means. Just like here, if you get caught reckless driving, and what they mean by that is doing burnouts, doing donuts, and driving an X amount over the speed limit, you can get arrested, you will be ticketed, and then oh shit, and then your car will be towed. Same thing with the trucks. So for them to fight it, they had to, the sheriff will get the trucks impounded, which means they're not making any money. So, or your third, which what is a lot, what a lot of these guys would do, these come on, get in there. What a lot of these cops would do is they would tell them a price. So let's just say the ticket was $100. They would say, "Give me $150, and I won't write you a ticket. I will let you on your way." And you're probably thinking, well, why don't they just take the ticket and pay it? Yes, you could, but that means their insurance will go up, which is not good. So, it's just a lot easier to spend that $150. So that's when the truckers started to get wise. The drivers were starting to get wise. They're like, well, we're safer in numbers. So why don't we ride, you know, X amount of trucks? Because even though the cops didn't like them, the cops were scared of truckers. Cops would never go into a trucker's what do you call it? Truck stop. There you go. Unless they had somebody to pick up or arrest. Because they were afraid of them. But when you only had one-on-one, it was a different story. So anyway, actually I'm not gonna speed that much. Actually, I'm gonna slow it down and put it back into 11. So that's what they did. So they started, like I said, they got smart and they were running with these convoys. But even with that, then these cops got even smarter. They're like, well, we'll just wait for them to be alone and then get them that way. And that's where these truckers then came up with the CB. Using the, oh, that's going to be a speeding ticket. It should have been. That's where these truckers came up with their own language. Because nobody else would know it. Unless, of course, you were a trucker. And, so they had a lot of things like, I'll give you couple of them you might know, a couple of them you may not know. First one is 10-4. That's an all immediate signaling code that everybody knows. All it means is copy, or I understand, or I hear you. But the other thing though that they have a lot of is, you might hear over the CB, if you have a CB, or if you know somebody that's in the trucking industry, you might hear them use some lingo that you never heard before. And excuse me, guys. And you're probably thinking, well, what do they mean? Well, here's a way to at least get you kind of going with it. So already 10-4. A flip-flop. If you ever hear flip-flop, flip-flop means I'll catch you going back the other way. That's what flip-flop means. That's what flip-flop means. Or if they mean put the hammer down. Hammer is the gas. That's what hammer means. So when they say put the hammer down, that's what they mean. I actually kind of forgot where we were going here. Let's see really quick. We are going down this way. Okay. Or if they say, your back door. Your back door is your back. So the back of your truck. That's what they mean by that. Let's see what else. If you hear them talk about the bear, a bear, not a black bear or a bear you would find in the wilderness. They mean a bear, and they called cops bears. That's what they did. Not B-E-R, but B-E-A-R. That's what they called them. And So so that's what they called them. So if you ever hear, you know, somebody say, you know, hey, there's a, you know, a bear at your back door, that's what they mean. Or bear near. Bear near is a helicopter. You know, let's see, you know, or there's a bear in a plain, you know, brown wrapper, or a, you know, a white wrapper. All that means that there is a there's a cop in an unmarked vehicle, color white. They also don't use like exit signs. They use more mile markers. That's what they use. So they might say, you know, bear in a plain white wrapper, mile marker 94. So then you know at mile marker 94, there's a cop there, you know. Or same thing, if you ever hear of the term, can I get a Smokey report? Smokey also means cop. Or you know, can I get a bear report? All it is just, you know, can someone tell me, you know, if they caught any bears, or if they saw any cops on the side of the road or driving or whatever. So okay, shut off. So that's what also that means. You know, or you know, keep the rubber on the road. What that means is keep the tires on the road. You know, don't crash, and you know, don't flip your truck. You know, basically, you know, so that's what they mean. Let's see what else. There's so many. It's so hard to remember them all. You either have to be a trucker, or you have to be somebody that's a trucker enthusiast like I am to know these. And I mean, I know pretty much all of them, because I do have a CB. I have a CB, and I do talk to it. I do talk on it, should I say. I don't have a home base, but I do have one for the car. Breaker breaker just means, you know, you're cutting in, you know, on somebody else's conversation. Now you're probably thinking, if you never had a CB, you're like, well, what's the point of saying breaker breaker? You know, even if you don't hear, you know, somebody else somebody else talking, which you are right. You're not all the time where you hear somebody talk on your CB, and here's the reason why. Because depends on the make, depends on the model, depends on a lot of things, will determine how high that frequency is. The higher the frequency, you're not going to be able to hear it. And this is how it works. So if you have a low frequency, you're only going to be able to hear everybody that's lower than you, or on that same frequency. But somebody that's on a higher frequency, you can't hear them, but they can hear you. It's just how that works. So a CB is not, it's not just cutthroat, easy peasy, you know, it don't matter. So you might be, you may not think somebody else is talking, but in reality somebody might be. And it's just respect to say breaker breaker, have them, you know, cut their conversation, so maybe you can talk to somebody for a little bit, you know. Or You know, or there might be a 1088, which I'm gonna tell you what 1088 means in a second, so you can pass on the message. A 1088 is an emergency, and I can tell you this now: if you really love your life, if you really enjoy it, and you don't want to see it end, do not mess with a trucker. You might be a little lucky here and there, but back then, truckers, I'm telling you, whoa, okay, I gotta shift here. They stick together. They really do. They stick together. So if something happens to any of them, I can guarantee you, probably before you're able to turn around and shut off your CB, that message will probably be 3 states over. So 1088 means an emergency. And I can tell you this: when there's a fellow trucker that needs help, anybody that can hear that radio will turn the truck around, no matter if it's hot or not, and go help that trucker. It's just it's what they do, which I give them props for. I give them props. So that's what they do. So that's that. Let's see what else. A hot load. What that just means is that the load needs to get to its destination ASAP. That's all that really means. So you know, so that's what it means. Let's see. I said there's so many. A flat deck. So pretty much a trailer that's just flat is also known as a skateboard. Some of these containers, like the container that I'm carrying, or some of the diesel or gasoline trailers. Whoa, 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 son of a bitch. Fuck. Great. Great. So you would that's also known as bottles, because they're in the shape of a bottle. You know, like I said, there's just so many. There's so many that you probably can go online, tell you the truth, and they will tell you. Well, there was our excellent streak. I don't see anybody. There's so many. I forgot. But there's so much. But also what made it hard, was for the African American population. Back then, they still didn't fully believe that African Americans could do what whites can. and that was a big issue, especially for white cops. And one movie that I enjoy the most and I can watch over and over again is called Convoy. And that pretty much puts the trucker's life and the police officer's life in their eyes. Let's just say it as that. In their eyes. So if you haven't seen it, I would say go and go rent it. It's probably on Netflix. So I would say definitely go and oop, wrong way. So used to driving on the route, having my the steering wheel on the right. That it's a good movie. Let's see. I wanted 4. I wanted there. So it's definitely a good movie. But there's, like I said, there's so many, you know, truckers code out there that it's, you know, I can tell you this, it's not what it used to be. You know, truckers used to able to help anybody and anybody that needed help, and you'll really find truckers like that anymore. And the reason is because people would act like they needed help and then either rob them, steal the truck, or steal the cargo. And so they don't do that anymore. But anyways, that will end this season of Euro Truck Simulator 2. Not that bad. Could have been better. But until next time, guys, please like and hit that subscribe button.